November 2002, 8:30, got a call. Torrential rain. One of the residents who lived in a house right over there called me and said, "Councilman, we have 6 inches of water above the sidewalk. We need your help." Came out 15 minutes later. The water was sewer water, and it was 6.5 feet in her living room. And she was swimming out of her house in sewer water. 160 families lost everything over here, and the land we now have dedicated to the Rodney Cook Senior Park in historic Vine City. We promised the residents, after many years of searching for an opportunity, some 8 years, we began a process to pursue this park. And here we are now with the full involvement of some world-class park designers. The Trust for Public Land has produced a phenomenal design, world-class design with Olmsted features, because the original park that was built, that this was patterned off of, was built in the early 1900s by the firm of Frederick Law Olmsted, his sons, and a world-class landscape architect. And so the Trust for Public Land captured many nuances and elements and features from that original park, but did something original. Yes. And did it in collaboration with the Department of Watershed Management, because if you had the biggest flood event in the city's history here tied to stormwater, then it stands to reason that we should do something about that. And so I believe it's 10 million gallons of stormwater that will be stored here on this park. But it's not just a pond. I mean, if you look at this is just a phenomenal design. And so with the combination of the Trust for Public Land, the combination of the Department of Watershed Management that gave us this world-class water feature to help permanently address stormwater management in the Proctor Creek sewer basin. And then here's the real icing on the cake. This is one of the most historic neighborhoods in the entire city. Some of our greatest leaders worked in this community, lived in this community, worshiped in this community, and this is the neighborhood which is the home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his wife, Coretta Scott King, John Lewis, who worked with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Hosea Williams, Andrew Young, Julian Bond, Maynard Jackson,
what I'm hearing is
Dorothy Bolden,
a
Grace Towns Hamilton. What I'm saying to you is these great historic folks came right out of this community, and with the help of the National Monuments Foundation, who is both funding as well as designing and building monuments to no less than 18 individuals right here in this community, right here in this park. So what I'm saying to you is there will be 18 larger-than-life monuments built in this park in tribute to some of this cities, some of this community, some of this world's greatest leaders. And of course, we should highlight that the park name, Rodney Cook Sr., comes from a gentleman who happens to have had a great civil rights legacy, and we patterned the theme around the beloved community, a theme that was a major focal point of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which spoke to disavowing any connection with racism and addressing the needs of the community. And so here this Caucasian man who was an alderman and a state legislator who has a great civil rights background in the 1960s, it was his family that are providing the dollars and cents for the monuments. We have dedicated this park to Rodney Cook Senior Park and historic Vine City. And so I couldn't, as the council member of this district, I couldn't be more excited about what's about to happen.
Maybe, council member, do you want to recap the conversation?
Not high-priced housing, but we would rebuild a world-class park to help make this community whole. But it was more than a park. We had to address the root cause of what caused it, and that was the flood and our stormwater, our capacity to manage stormwater in this area. And so it's a park with purpose. It's a park with functionality. It's a park with historical relevance that ties back to the very origins of this community. And it highlights something that will be visited not just by the residents who will have an opportunity, seniors and young people alike who will come and have an opportunity to play on these grounds, but I imagine that we will have visitors from all over the world who will come here just to have a glimpse of some of our community's greatest heroes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.